Welcome. In this video we're going to filter the amount of sales data that we download from SKUtrak DataShare to show only the last 4 weeks and add product, brand and category to our pivot table. So the first thing we need to do is get the queries and connections window open, right click on our connection and select edit, and this will open up the Power Query editor. We have the date column there, or date, and you can apply a filter just by clicking on the kind of arrow at the top, date time filter, and we'll select in the previous so that we can always show the last 28 days regardless of what that is. But we've got an error. So actually this is telling us that there is date and time in one field and trying to compare that with a date. So that's because the Snowflake date field is not being detected correctly by Power Query Editor. So what we need to do is we'll just remove this step from the flow, and we can see at the top it is a date time because there's a little clock there on the field. We need to change the data type of this column to a date. It is date selected now, and although the data doesn't look like it's changed, we've added a change type and it's just showing the calendar. So now let's try adding the date filter now, because it doesn't say date time. In the previous, I'm saying 29 because of the data being a day old, and that has now filtered out to only show the last 29 days regardless of what the date is. So now we want to add the product table so that we can join to that and show our product, brand and category. So as we did when creating the connection in the first place, it's new source, ODBC data sources, and this time we're going to select the product table. That's the list of all SKUs and their brands and categories. So we've now got two tables loaded. They're not joined together. So to join them together, if you hold down Control on the keyboard and then select the original table, we can then click on the Merge Queries option, and we've got the Morrison's estate in the top, and we select the product table. We're going to join these two together. We need to select the columns that we're going to join on, and so joining to the product table, you do that on the retailer name and the retailer SKU. So in both tables, again, you have to hold down Control when selecting multiple fields. Make sure you pick R SKU and a retailer. The type of join is inner, so we bring back only rows where those fields match. And now we've got an extra column in the table, and we've got the merge queries step. It says just table and we can't see the field, so to expand it, if you click on the little icon in the top right, we can see a list of all the fields in this product table now. And so I'm going to add brand, category, subcategory. And what we're also going to do, this is really optional, if we untick the include original column name, it just makes the field names look more sensible in the output. So we now have our raw Morrison's data, and we've got those extra product fields added. Because in our pivot table we only use some of the fields from this table, what we're going to do again to make it easier is we hit the choose columns button. We can remove the unnecessary columns from being pulled down from SKUtrak DataShare, which reduces the amount of data in the spreadsheet, makes it quicker, and it makes it easier to read in our pivot. So now we have just date, retailer, sales figures, and the product category fields. So we clicked load, and now the connection and worksheet is going to refresh with data. We wait a little while, and you see now we've also got another column in, or another table in the worksheet for the product data. We've now only got 420 rows because we filtered on date, and then see we've lost 2020 and 2019. And what we're going to do now is modify this pivot table. So first thing I'd do is we'll get rid of the year and quarter and month because we're only looking at the past 28 days. So we'll leave just the date field. And we'll add the brand and category to our pivot. And so now we've got the past 28 days data from the Morrison's estate, pivoted also by brand and product category. We'll just tidy up that sales vid column and there we go. Sales by day, by brand and category. And remember, now that we've created this, tomorrow, if we want to see this pivot updated with the next day's data, we just have to open it, open the spreadsheet, click refresh all, and the worksheet is updated. Quick recap. Before you can filter on date, you need to change the data type on the or date column to date. Use filter in the previous so that you can set a date range rather than a fixed date. Add the product table so that we can join to that. Use the merge function and join on the A retailer and or SKU columns using an inner join. After you've added the table, expand the columns on the merge table and select the columns that you want. And just for neatness and efficiency, reduce the amount of data, choose columns that you want to be loaded into Excel rather than selecting them all.